Yes, I admit.
That, my friends, the unmistakable voice of David Ball here on the Y'all Show. David Ball, Jon Rawl, and this is Y'all.
I like it.
I like it too.
We're rhyming.
We are all about rhyming here. And David Ball, we are so glad that you could take some time out. We are at the radio seminar in Nashville, the 50th Country Radio Seminar. And this guy, he stormed on the scene in the mid-1990s with hits like Thinkin Problem and Look What Followed Me Home, and then riding with Private Malone after that, and is just out here doing a great thing. And you had such an intriguing story 25 years ago. You still got an intriguing story because you weren't a rookie when you started in the music business.
No,
or in Nashville at least.
I kind of musically grew up in Texas. Moved out there with a band all from South Carolina.
Uncle
Walt's band.
Yeah.
And man, those two guys were super talented. And that band went out to Texas on the folk circuit kind of, and went through a lot of changes and this and that. And here we are today.
Of course, Walt Hyatt, Walt we're talking about, was killed in that terrible plane crash back in the 98, 97.
That Value jet went down in the Everglades.
Yeah. So that was a tough thing. But prior to that, you had started in Nashville with Warner Brothers Records with your first album, Thinkin Problem. And I got to hang out with this guy a long time ago, and I know it's been a couple decades. But David, you may not realize this, but back in 95? When was Thinkin Problem out?
Thinkin Problem was 1995. Yes, it was.
See, we're doing so good. I got you to take your hat
I know
off.
it, man.
See, you got good hair.
Thank you. I bought that. It's still bought.
In 1995, I was a little punk 23-year-old working at a place called Country Music Television, and I was on the programming committee when your music video came out, and I helped make that number one. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
Because it went number one at CMT, and actually,
is that right?
It was number one at CMT for 2 weeks before it was number one on the radio.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
So here's this nice hat.
Put that on, man.
No, I'll put it on, but I was looking for if anybody out there wants to Stetson. Look at that.
That's quality goods there.
You and I are both South Carolinians.
Right.
He's from Spartanburg. I don't want to mistake it from Rock Hill, city of his birth, just like I was born in Columbia but grew up in Lexington. But in South Carolina, we don't wear cowboy hats.
No, not too much.
And I don't like cowboy hats unless you're a cowboy.
It looks right on you.
Yeah, but I'm not a cowboy.
Yeah, it's hard to understand what the philosophy is because it really doesn't keep the sun off your eyes, but it makes that hillbilly music just kind of start to swing.
You said you lived in Austin and Texas.
Yeah, I lived out in Texas for about 11 years.
Did you wear hats prior to going to there?
Always wore a hat.
But
always. I don't think I did.
So there's your excuse.
Yeah.
When you moved to Texas, then you qualified.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's acceptable.
I started, musically it got me. I loved it. It was the first time I saw some of those bands out there, big, 9-10 piece bands. 2 or 3 of these guys, on stage, and I thought, man,
the Bob Wills sound.
Yeah. And there was a lot of that in Austin way back in the day. This was maybe, 70, early 70s, Jerry Jeff and all that.
Right.
And, but locally, there was a whole lot of music going on. And, the big acts would come through there and play the Skyline Ballroom. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful musical time.
Now, it was in the mid-90s that you got your record deal, and as I said, you're a different kind of cat, and that's a good thing in music because you got to stand out.
You got to be a little different. I think
and there were so many artists, and I know I worked at CMT. I had people like you walking in the office every day hoping we would play their music video, and a lot of them we didn't. But a lot of them we
Imagine
did.
that.
Yeah, well, but there just was not enough room. Some of them weren't very good, but we did try to break artists.
You weeded out and then got to Thinkin Problem.
Sure.
When that Thinkin Problem, quality stuff here.
I mean, this guy, this song. I mean, it was perfect. And obviously, it wasn't just us. The whole country fell in love with Thinkin Problem.
Well, it was a great way to kick it off, and I'd been in Nashville for about 5 years, and I had that song in my pocket. But it took a while. They say it's a 5-year town, and Man, I tell you, it was tough.
And you weren't 21 years old at the time.
No. I'd been messing around in Texas for about 11 years.
Yeah.
They call it paying their dues, but we were having a good time.
Yeah, well.
And I was learning about music.
Yeah.
And like I say, man, I think hearing that Bob Wills record, he cut a record in the 70s, 73 or something. That's really one of the last times I've been really surprised musically, going like, what are you? Yeah. And I was like 21. I just thought it was everything I wanted, because I love the harmony, I love the fiddling, had the upright bass, and Tommy Duncan singing. Oh man, and great songs.
Yeah,
bubbles in my beer.
And the great thing, again, we love Texas music, but you're not a native Texan, and you fell in love with that sound, as I did. I love twin fiddles.
Yep. And I know a lot of those guys out there, and but yeah, I like the older. I've always liked the older 50s style stuff, and that's where it got good.
That was good. Hey, speaking of David Ball, who had some great music and still has great music available here on the Y'all Show, let's go back to 1995 when this song blew us all away. It's Thinkin Problem. We're back on the Y'all Show. Jon Rawl, David Ball. We're at the Country Radio Seminar, and that song there went to #1. Great success there from the Thinkin Problem album, right?
That's the title of it, yes.
And you had the follow-up that was Look What Followed Me Home. And another song on that album that was not a single, but I think about it every time.
Every day.
Well, every hour of every day, but specifically on December 12th every year, I think of you.
12/12/84.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that crazy? I don't know where that song came from. I just saw that date written out at my daughter's homework, and she had dated it 12/12.
Oh, that wasn't her birthday?
No.
I figured that was her birthday.
And,
fake news here on the Y'all Show.
We just, well, there's truth, if it rings true, it's true.
Well, he had a song on that Thinkin Problem album called 12/12/84.
Right.
And I thought it was a really cool song. And we're sitting here talking about it all these years later, but I had no idea your daughter, that was not her birthday. So you learn something every day. But that wasn't the only album you had great success on. Then you had, after a few years, Riding with Private Malone.
Riding the old Private,
I
Private
believe that
Malone.
has to be one of your most requested songs.
Oh, yeah, we played that all the time. That song was written by Wood Newton and Tom Shepard, and when I first heard it, I just thought, what a unique song, very different, and I loved making the record. Wood and I had written about 2 or 3 songs, and he had a studio happening in Nashville, and that was on a very independent little tiny record label, and luckily they figured it out, as we went along, which is a good way to do things. It wasn't like twisting anybody's arm. They came and played it, just on the merit of the song. So I was glad to have it.
Wow. Now tell us what you're doing musically right now.
I love, music's my hobby, and it's what I do for the most fun. And
so what do you do for a job?
Yeah, really. Well, I'm lucky that my hobby, like I say, we're going to Texas tomorrow, and I love still playing. We've figured out a way to make everything very simple and do it all ourselves. And now I might not work as much as I used to, but we can play anywhere, which is fun. Except for that bowling alley, that didn't work out too good. But other than that, I like getting out there.
You've got David Ball fans who weren't even alive in 1995 out there. And what's it like when you talk to these fans and they like, I love your songs, I love your music?
Well, they've all heard the song, they've heard Thinkin Problem, and lo and behold, this Private Malone is, we get paid when the record sells, and that's how you make your money. And Private Malone is unbelievable. It is unbelievable how that thing is still selling. And it was a real treat, to meet, especially to meet the veterans and those guys that came out of Vietnam. And the whole record is really very good. We weren't thinking Private Malone was going to be a single, but we got such feedback.
Right.
We put it out, and then we put the next one out, which was a huge, great song. but nobody touched it because, you know, we got Private Malone for free. We didn't have to lift a finger. It just sold itself.
What was that follow-up?
Whenever you come back to me.
No, I don't know. I don't think
See,
I know
you never
that.
heard it. It's on the Amigo CD.
Okay.
I'll play it live, and it's the only song I play live where somewhere during the song, you're not going to believe this, somebody in the audience will cry out. They'll just they'll go, ah!
Okay. That's the power of music.
It's a kind of a sad song, but in a way, it's just, you know.
Okay. What are you doing right now? Are you making new music?
Well, I just finished and got this new CD out called Come See Me, and you can come find it at davidball.com. And you got to live with it a little bit. I like that aspect of music, you know, where you don't. Nashville's very, you know, oriented. They'll listen to half a song and tell you if it's any good or not, but this is not that kind of music. I didn't write this with that plan. I wrote stuff that just, you know, comes out of the air, you know, while I'm messing around. I'll get a song on my mind, and there's a song on the new record called At the Beaumont Dent and Alignment Battery and Body Shop. So you can't sit down and try to write something like that. That's just the music I want to hear.
That's amazing. Well, let's talk about your native state of South Carolina, my native state too. You actually lived at one time on the Isle of Palms, as did I during my college days. Do you get back to South Carolina much?
We get back to Spartanburg.
Okay.
And
hometown of Marshall Tucker.
Hometown of Marshall Tucker.
Yeah, Marshall Tucker, yeah.
Yeah, and they came out.
Yeah.
Paul Riddle and, you know.
Are you around the same age as those guys?
Riddle, the drummer, is a year younger than me,
really?
But the other guys, yeah, they were about 3 years older, I think, 3 or 4 years older.
Okay, Doug and...
Yeah, Doug's still around.
Yeah.
And Joe McConnell, the manager.
Toy, of course, we lost him 20-some years ago.
Yeah, and his brother, you know, Tommy, the bass player. So that was a real tragedy. And I love Spartanburg, though.
I love the Beacon in Spartanburg.
What are you talking about? Chili cheese aplenty.
Well, I don't know what I ordered.
Order, please!
They just order for you when you go
That guy
there.
was so cross-eyed. He'd walk in and he's so cross-eyed and he'd look at you and yell, order, please! Are you talking to me? What? He's looking over here. JC at the Beacon Drive-In.
Yeah, downtown Spartanburg.
Chili cheese aplenty is a hamburger cheese.
Okay.
Chili, mustard, everything else. Aplenty is a big pile of French fries plus what?
Okay.
What? Onion rings.
Okay. Sorry, I don't have the menu down. In fact, if you go
Sweet
there,
iced tea.
Yeah, if you go there and you kind of stumble at all and don't immediately give your order, they just order for you.
It can be tough.
Well, they just order for you.
I took my drummer in there who's from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Oh, gosh.
And he ordered a fish plate. And they brought him so much fish he couldn't eat all of it. He thought he was getting lake perch, you know, like they have up in Wisconsin, but this was ocean perch, sunfish type thing or something. And he couldn't eat it, and he carried that thing around with him for about 4 days, and we were finally like, get the fish out of the truck. We don't.
There's nothing worse than fish left over. Nothing worse. They got pretty good barbecue there at the Beacon.
They call it barbecue. That's not barbecue.
Well, it's okay.
Chopped up baked beef hash.
All right. Sorry. So
I lived in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and the first time we went out to the Salt Lick and had the barbecue brisket, I was like, this ain't like the Beacon.
But the Beacon, God bless them, they got great tea there.
Oh, it's great food. I hit the Beacon when I go to Spartanburg, and then, you know, we played. Get this. You know, I was in that band, Uncle Walt's band.
Yes. Check that out.
Those two guys have passed away. I'm the only surviving member of Uncle Walt's band.
Which was a kind of a big deal back in the 70s,
It was, we had it going on in Texas, for sure, and Carolina, a little bit in Nashville. Well, Champ's son, Warren, is a fantastic fiddler, so we'll go over there to Spartanburg and kind of do some a reenactment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And that's where I saw Riddle and all them, you know, God love them, them Tucker guys, and a couple of people I went to high school with, you know, Spartan High.
The Spartans, right?
My wife's from Spartanburg.
Yeah. Like I said, I went to a Wofford football game there back Labor Day weekend. They played my Citadel Bulldogs.
Oh, you went to the Citadel?
Yeah, sure did.
Man, I can tell you stories. I lived in, down there for a long time, and I can remember.
You get any fights with cadets?
No, being parked somewhere, though, on a little side road, and about 4 of these cadets, you could tell they were cadets because they were wearing wool, and damn, I thought I'd been drunk. These guys were so drunk, and they had to scale that wall.
I didn't think you saw me.
And it's like 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm leaving Roger Bellow, the great fiddler, and his house across the street was the wall. And I'm in my car, and it's dark, and it's not running. And these 4 monkeys were trying to get over that, help it. Oh, my Lord. I thought, guys, they were bad.
Yeah.
They were in bad. That's some powerful drinking down there.
Yeah, well, I had my time, but what got me through the night was good old country music. I was there, sadly, before your music was out on the radio, so it was Randy Travis and Alan Jackson.
Oh, you can't beat that. That's what got me to move to.
Was it?
I was living at Isle of Palms.
So that Gone Country song was your life.
I knew I was going to move to Nashville, but when I heard On the Other Hand, and I thought, this is cool. This is good. Prior to that, that's one reason I spent all that time in Texas, because I just wasn't, it didn't reach me. When I heard Ricky Skaggs having hits and George Strait and Randy Travis, I thought, that's it. This is what I do. I can...
Well, we're glad you did it, and we hope for more from David Ball.
Thank you.
We are so glad that you stopped by. This is the Y'all Show. More of the show is coming up. We'll go out with a little riding from Private Malone.